My most viral poems of 2025 and what they taught me. At the beginning of 2025, I was pumped, exhausted a bit, but very, very excited. I was just coming from winning Women's Slam in November 2024. A couple of my poems had gone viral on TikTok and Instagram, and I was actively building my social media presence at Ska Poetry. The future was bright. I had started sharing my poetry publicly in 2023, which is a whole other topic on its own. But by 2025, I felt like I was finally stepping into myself. Now, when I think about the word viral, my immediate reaction is I don't really care like that. I'm not an influencer. I'm not profiting from virality per se. I love the visibility that it brings. I love the opportunity that sometimes come with it. But what I care about most is my work being meaningful. When my videos get views, I'm happy, of course, but it's because it means that people relate. They see themselves in it. I'd rather have a present, consistent community than viral spikes. So, today I want to talk about my most viral poems of 2025 and what they taught me. The first poem has to be the breakup poem. And when love is over, gather your lessons, carry them in yourself and leave. I wrote this poem in transit, by the way. I had just gone through a breakup, obviously. I wrote this poem while in transit, coming back from my ex's place. After that final conversation, this poem taught me a lot about walking away from situations that no longer serve you. I tend to have a habit of trying to make the best out of situations without asking myself, do I even still want to be here? Writing this poem helped me accept that things don't have to be permanent to mean something. You experience things and they're beautiful and you love them, but when they stop being that, it's okay to say, I have outgrown this, and then move on without guilt. The second poem has to be gentle with your silence. Some pain has no language, yet be gentle with her. This poem was inspired by a porter on TikTok. I saw this quote on his page and immediately words just started flowing. As an extrovert, I have really had to learn to be gentle with my silence, to make room for it, to understand that silence can hold things that language doesn't yet have the words for. This poem taught me that something practical as well. It taught me that sometimes the posts that we don't overthink travel the farthest. I shot it randomly at a friend's place and then posted it and went back to leaving. But somehow it traveled to so many of you across the world. That poem is
Why are the poets so sad? Why are they always angry?
I get this question a lot. On this day, I was just coming from an interview at Radio Maisha, and they asked me, "Mbona poets mnakuanga mmekasirika? Kwanza poets na stories za gava." And going back home, I was reflecting on this as well, and I asked myself, well, why do we always seem so sad? Why do we come across as angry? And of course, the answer had to be a poem. When I shared this poem, a lot of artists said that they related to it, which really meant everything. The fourth poem is
I was not raised by soft women.
I wrote this poem in 2024 after watching another TikTok about not being raised by soft women, and I thought, let me write my own version of that. In 2025, when I finally performed it live in the video that went viral,
I was raised by women who carried the world on their shoulders.
It was on International Women's Day. I chose to perform this poem on International Women's Day very intentionally. I wanted to honor the women who are often demonized and are rarely appreciated, yet they are behind the scenes of our success. Loud market women, illicit brothellers, sex workers, women in crime, to stand up on an international stage and say, when we say Happy International Women's Day, we mean you too. So many people tell me that this poem reminded them of their mothers, their aunties, their grandmothers, and that they had never seen them in that light before. Morality aside, these women sacrificed so much of themselves to raise us, and I think that they deserve honor that doesn't try to clean them up first before honoring them. Honor that says, I see you as you are and I am proud of you. I'm really, really proud of this poem.
Grief has arrived.
time. Ayo. Surprisingly, I wasn't even grieving when I wrote this poem, or so I thought. I was in Ghana for the Women Poetry Festival 2025, watching a choreo poem by Grace and Tantiwe from South Africa titled Grieve, This Is How You Survive. It followed a person from childhood to adulthood, exploring different losses, losing a father, a grandmother, even yourself as you grow up and change. And as I watched from the audience, I just broke down. Hey, completely. That performance allowed me to sit with my grief. We often want grief to be brief, moan and move on. But this poem created space for no rush, no timeline. I realized that I had so much grief tucked away. Grief I had acknowledged briefly, then ignored it and moved on. And when they finished, I ran outside because tears would not stop coming. I've cried so much, I literally went to hide. Grief had arrived, and instead of judging her, I let her in. I realized she was love and honor for everything I had lost. This poem taught me that there is so much grief in the world, and so very few spaces to hold it. I am so honored that my poem became one such space for so many of you. Poem 6. Of course, I'm afraid. I could easily be the next person to go missing. This poem was written around June. Nilikuwa na confirm kama nimefunga mlango twice. Fear was really eating me up. Fear mixed with grief and hopelessness tied to Kenya's current political reality. It speaks to being a young person in a country where you know the systems are not working, where they're slowly killing us. But speaking up against the system also means risking death by the bullet. This poem still feels so unresolved for me. It lives somewhere at the back of my mind as I think about our country, where it is and where I would like it to go. When the madness of an entire nation disturbs a solitary mind, it is not enough to say the man is mad. Poem 7.
Kids of this generation don't speak their mother tongue.
Hapa nilikuwa na complain. I love Kikuyu deeply, and I am heartbroken that I cannot speak it as well as I would like to. This poem interrogates how a generation was robbed of its mother tongue through the education system, boarding schools, punishment for speaking our languages, and then as we become adults and grow up, we are blamed for not speaking those very languages that we were never allowed to learn. Last year, reclaiming identity was very big for me, and language was a huge part of that. I started writing in Kikuyu more, experimenting, and there was so much grief and loss and anger. But I have learned that what no one taught me, I can teach myself. And I am doing my best to do that. 2025 taught me it's important to let yourself be seen, to be open and vulnerable. You will receive from the world as much as you give it. At first, of course, I was chasing virality, especially after Grief went viral. I started judging my poems by whether they would perform well on TikTok or not, and I didn't like that. I learned that what matters isn't that a poem goes viral, it's that it touches someone. I learned to move on quickly from my posts. Whether a video did well or not, I was already writing the next one, filming it, creating it. In the end, I realized that I just wanted a persistent, present community. I write from my heart. I feel things deeply, and that's okay. To the version of me who wrote in silence for years, thank you. To that girl who wrote with no idea where the poems would go, that's the foundation of everything that I am today. I am still writing because writing is my home, my safe space, where I found myself and continue to find myself still. This is my love story.